Well, hello there, fabulous people. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making these very indulging red velvet chocolate chip cookies which taste absolutely delicious. Well, remember to click the like button, share this video with your friends and family, and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks very much. So, as we begin, I'm going to be using 1 1/3 cup of plain flour. That's about 200 grams of flour. I'm also going to be using 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and I'm using 1 teaspoon of baking soda and also just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put all of the exact measurements and ingredients in my description box below, so feel free to have a look at it. Once I've finished sieving all of this, I'm going to just put it in a bowl and I'll put all of the dry ingredients aside for now. In the meantime, we're going to begin with the wet ingredients. So with the wet ingredients, I'm using 110 grams of unsalted butter. I like to measure it just to make sure I get the exact measurements for this recipe. And onto that, I'm going to add 70 grams of soft brown sugar. I'm adding 80 grams of caster sugar, and I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix this all together very thoroughly, and then I'm going to crack in 1 large egg at room temperature. So I left my butter out overnight since yesterday just to make sure it's very nice and soft. So if you can, just leave your butter out overnight. Now I'm adding just a few drops of red food color. You can add as little or as much as you prefer. I'm going to mix this all thoroughly together. Once it's well combined, I'm now going to bring back in the dry ingredients that we measured earlier on. So I'm going to add this in quarters, just a bit at a time. Add the dry ingredients a bit at a time and just mix them thoroughly. Once you've mixed all of the dry ingredients together and you're satisfied with your mixture, I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of chocolate chips, and I'm going to add that and very gently mix them all together now. So now that the chocolate chips are thoroughly mixed, I'm going to roll it into a log. So I'm placing it on my parchment paper, which will help me to mold it and shape it into the length and size that I would like it to be. Once I'm satisfied with the shape and length, I'm going to transfer it into a cling film. I'm going to roll it very tightly and I'll refrigerate it for at least 1 hour so it can set properly. So this cookie dough has been sitting in the refrigerator for 1 hour. So I'm going to bring it out now. It's thoroughly set and we're ready to bake this cookie. Just unravel your cling film. As you can see, it's nice and firm. So I'm going to begin to cut this cookie dough into some thin circles. You can definitely cut it as thinly or as thickly as you prefer. However, this recipe should be able to get you about 15 cookies. So after cutting it, this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to place it straight on my baking tray. I like to bake about 5 cookies at a time, just to make sure they're very nicely spaced out. So I'm going to throw this into my oven and I'm baking them for 9 minutes exactly at 190 Celsius. So 9 minutes later and yum yum yum. Cookies are ready. I wish you can smell this sweet aroma through the screen. It smells and tastes absolutely delicious. Let me just remind you, if you haven't already, to please click the like button, and if it's your first time visiting us today, please also consider subscribing. These cookies are perfectly baked and they're ready to yum. Well, there's no cookie until you've actually dunked it into a glass of milk. So here's our taste taster. That looks absolutely beautiful, and I like to dunk it into a glass of milk, and it is absolutely delicious. Thank you all so much for spending time and watching this video today. I'll see you again next week for another recipe. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.